Welcome to the Bourbon Doctors. I'm Chad. This is Albert. Hey, Albert. 2022 called. He wants his bourbon back.
No way, man. I'm keeping it all. So what we have here in front of us today is just a sampling of what we've sampled this year in 2022.
You know, when you look back, the end of the year is a time to look back and reflect.
Fair.
Right?
Yeah.
And when I started that, I thought, you know what? There hasn't been much new this year. What a shitty year as far as
Yeah,
new
I
stuff.
didn't feel like this
think
was a
there much
great
new.
year for bourbon.
And then we started pulling these out and say, oh, we had that this year. This is new this year. This is new. It looks like we did a bit. It's been better than I thought.
Yeah. And this is not everything we tried this year. This is just
stuff, you know, it isn't like we're going, oh, we had that for the last 5 years. Let's keep.
No, this is just what we've had that was new this year. But this is even not all of it, because some of it, we drank some of those bottles.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's what you should do.
That's what we're supposed to do with it.
Instead of hoarding it.
Don't hoard it.
Don't hoard it. And so, as I look back, and it always is good to do this, no matter what you're talking about, bourbon or otherwise, and reflect back on, hey, what has been good this year? Let's talk about the things that really stood out to me, you, our audience, because they can come in too. That's what we'd love to hear is you say, hey, you didn't do this or whatever, but hey, this is our opinion and what we thought. And do you want to start or do you want me to start?
So what we're going to do is we're going to pick out some of our favorite bottles out of this mess you see in front of you. And maybe what we'll have to do is clear some bottles.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that better?
Where did it all go?
Okay. So we're going to talk.
Better.
Yeah, well.
It's not better.
It's a little bit. We cleared up.
Blank.
Well, we cleared up some clutter.
It's bland.
So here we go. We're going to talk about our favorite picks of this year. Now, again, did we try every bottle of bourbon this year?
Oh, shit.
No, we did not. There are some allocated bottles that we would love to get our hands on.
Time, money.
Which didn't happen. Mm-hmm. But of the bottles that we did have, here's what we like best. Again, are these the best bottles? No, they're just our favorites.
Surprises. Things that I said this year that I thought,
All right, so what's your first bottle that you liked best this year?
This Doc Swinson Blender's Cut, 120 proof. It was one of those things that you try and you're like, wow, that really hits the mark. You know?
I mean, I'll say you're welcome.
It's a $50 bottle. Yeah, you did help me out with this. And we even threw it as, hey, this has got to be one of the best bottles under 50. Yeah. And, you know, it's not, I haven't seen it everywhere. In fact, I don't see it a lot down in Iowa, but I do see it a lot in Minnesota, Minneapolis area. And it's just one of those that I hadn't had before this year. Pleasant surprise. Great. It's one of those that could easily be a staple in my bar.
Yeah, that has become a staple in my bar. I did not select it as one of my favorites from this year. Maybe that's poor choice on my part, but it is an excellent bottle. Totally agree. Mm-hmm. Totally agree. And not allocated, right? Which is one of the other great things.
Yeah.
So speaking of allocated bottles, no, it's not a flex, but yeah, I managed to get one of these this year. It's the Old Fitz 17, and oh my goodness, is it a great bottle of booze? You know, we tend to like our higher proof whiskeys. This is lower proof. It's a bottled in bond, but oh my goodness, is it fantastically flavorful. It's not over-aged and over-oaked, which is a thing that happens with some of these bottles as they go over 12, 14, 15, 16 years. Is it expensive? Yes. It was roughly, I think, $150 or $200. Is it hard to find? Yes. It's super hard to find. Was it one of the best bottles I've had this year?
Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes and yes. All right. I'll take it every time.
So if you were in the store and you had $150,
if I had $200,
and you could get this or 3 of these,
I'd get the Old Fitz.
Okay.
I'd get the Old Fitz. It's really fantastic. And I got one of these, right?
Yeah.
In all our years of bourbon drinking, I've gotten one of these.
Yeah, that's true.
So if the opportunity arises,
like we're
take
80.
it.
We're not 80.
We're 50.
$5.50.
Yeah. I know. I'm averaging.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we ain't young. We ain't young bucks no more.
Gotcha. All right. So now there's a couple that we agree upon.
Well, do you want to do one of the ones
right?
we agree
and I'll
upon?
do one because I'm next. And I came across this bottle. You got one, obviously, because this one's yours.
That one's mine.
Little Book, Chapter 6. Another allocated bottle from Jim Beam.
Yeah.
And it's not even a bourbon. It's a mix of
whiskey
malts and different things and blended. And when I first got it, I thought, am I really going to like this multi-blend mix? I thought I was a little skeptical at first.
Me too.
Until I drank it. And I was like, holy cows. I mean, if you can get Little Book Chapter 6, get it. I think I paid like about $150.
Yeah, it was like 120, 130, 140, somewhere in there.
It's right in that range. It is one of those bottles that I agree is worth it, and it is fantastic from this year. Chapter 6, Little Book.
Would you pay $250 for it?
No.
Okay, because that's what I.
What's the number you'd pay?
I don't know. I would pay $200 for it.
Yeah, right on 180 to 200 would be my kick.
One of our friends texted me this weekend and is like, "Hey, I came across this bottle. They want $250. What do I do?" And that's exactly what I was like. Oh, $250. I'm like, $150 all day.
Depends on the friend and if you know their income level.
Yeah. He didn't want to spend a ton.
Yeah.
So, but yes, it's a fantastic bottle. I agree with you 100%.
Really good. It's not one of those you pull out every night, but it's.
And I'll say I hate to make these end of the year things about like allocated bourbons or allocated whiskeys, but that is, these two are both allocated, hard to find, but so worth it. If you come across it. Yeah. My turn, I guess.
Another one that we agree on.
So speaking of whiskeys, not bourbons, I'm going to go far off into left field with the Foursquare rum.
Oh.
Yeah, it is another one that we had a chance to try this year.
It's really good. It really is.
Dr. Taylor Beers is the one that introduced this to me, and I was just struck by it's, aged in bourbon casks, so it has some of those bourbon notes, but also has some strong tropical notes, and man,
and exceptional. It's Barbados, right? Is where that's from?
That is
right? Barbados.
Good question.
Because I have a bottle also.
And yes, fine Barbados rum. So I know it's not a bourbon. It's aged in bourbon casks. If you like bourbon, this is going to be right up your alley. It's fantastic.
You want something a little sweeter with just a little bit of, I'd say, banana, coconut, flavor.
Sitting on the beach, umbrella. It gives you those vibes. And when I think about my favorite bottles, regardless of what it is, this was one of mine.
Yeah, and that's not a bad choice at all.
What do you got next?
Where are we at yours? Because this is, let's see, I did my, well, one of my favorites is the same as yours.
Yeah, I know. You got two bottles over there, right?
No, I just got one.
Well, you got one, I got one. There you go.
Okay. This is a surprise. This I just came across, and I thought, when you get to a point where you've tried a lot of this stuff, here's what you're looking for. Something that's really interesting and you haven't had before. And you're like, is this going to be interesting? And I haven't had this before. And this was at my local liquor store in Des Moines called University Liquor. They had this Old Soul, and they're doing these batches. They call them the Tin Type Series. And it's out of Mississippi, the distillery, and they use old blues and souls singers on the label. And I thought, you know what? It was just a little bit spendy. It was about $97, I think, dollars. And so I thought, I'm going to give it a shot. I brought it home, opened that up, and I thought, yeah, it's worth it. And so Old Soul, and then I got their small batch. It's new distillery out of Mississippi. I don't know if it's new. I haven't heard of it before, but they're doing some really good stuff. If you want to try something new and interesting, Old Soul,
one of your favorite bottles.
It became one of my favorite bottles a few weeks ago when I bought it.
Okay, all right. So I got one left. I've been very bourbon light in my favorite bourbon of the year.
You've been anti-bourbon.
I've been anti-bourbon. And I do feel like this year for me, 2022 for me, was a search for, you kind of touched on it a little bit, what's new? What's interesting?
Interesting.
Right? And
key.
Yeah, there were some finishes that we tried.
And we know what's good. We know what we like.
We know what we like.
We know we like Russell's Reserve and different things. And
right, you can go to the old
and all that
staples.
Stuff. But hey, I want to find something new that is different and new
and this is right. Jack Daniel's brand new for 2022 came out with 2 bottles, a triple mash and a bonded. They were in the mid 30s, and I just chose the triple mash for this episode. But really, I like both bottles. I like them both. They're a little bit different. Both, I think, 100 proof. This one is a blend of 3 bonded whiskeys, a little bit heavier in the rye family. I tell you, for $35, such a value, delicious whiskey, easy to sip.
That was in mine too, because here's what I like. I like the distilleries that have been around forever, like Jack Daniel's, Jim Beam, trying something different.
Yeah.
And look, they've done a great product for hundreds of years.
Now, that being said, I'm not a Jack Daniel's fan.
I am.
But
I just saw their gold label, and I kind of contemplated, do I get the gold label?
They're coming out with some other new stuff this year. I just haven't had a chance to try it. But this bottle and its bonded cousin, relative, brother, sister, whatever it is, really hit me this year as a non-Jack Daniel's fan.
And that, to me, is if you're sort of on the fence of rye and bourbon, that's a nice marriage of the two.
Yep.
It really is.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's a great whiskey. It really is. And I think it'd be fantastic in like a Manhattan.
I haven't done it. I haven't done anything but sip straight whiskey in a while.
Sip a lot of straight whiskey.
We'll see.
If you feel the need sometime to make a Manhattan,
we'll try it out.
That's a great, to me, that's a awesome whiskey for a Manhattan.
You got one more?
Daniel's triple mash. Nope, Old Soul is my last because I had the
so that's it.
Swinson book. This
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6
4
whiskeys.
Each, and
these were our favorite whiskeys of 2022.
Really, I mean, say, hey, look, you guys, good list,
bad list,
but what would you put in there that you said that was new this year? That's something that you said, and maybe we can't. Maybe we haven't had it because we can't get it.
Yeah.
That might be.
And again, it doesn't have to be new. These are not all new, right? Old Fitzgerald's old as hell. It's just new to us.
It's new to us. This is, I think, new. I've never seen it before. You've never even seen it.
I'd never heard of it.
And, Doc Swinson was new. This is obviously a new release of it's chapter 6. So
that one's.
Usually that means there's 5 previous chapters.
But tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Tell us what you agree with. Tell us what you don't agree with. Like, comment, subscribe.
And remember, bourbon is for drinking. Cheers, everyone.